Great. So finally, in the last video, we have done with the entire JavaScript, all the logic for connecting, managing the states. So all the functionality we have written. In this video, we're going to start working on our front end part. So first, we'll start working on the staking page. And after that, we're going to move on all the other pages. So here I've opened the project and make sure to open that one. And you can see this is the data folder we have. And this is the entire JS folder. Let's come down here. Here we have this staking and that's what we're going to work on it. So let's come up here. Things are looking pretty fine to me. And this is what we're going to work. So first thing, you have to install this particular extension, live server. Okay, simply search live server. And as you can see that I have already installed this particular server. You can click and you can see I have already installed this. So make sure to install that one and restart your VS Code. Then it will become active. You can read that what it does. So come back here in the file, click on this, and this is how it's look right now. And here you will have a button, go live. So when you will install the live server, you will have the similar button. Simply click on that and it will open the application in your browser. So it's going to open the application in my default browser. I'm using Mac, so it's going to open in the Safari, but I would like to use the Chrome. So I will simply copy the URL, come back in the Chrome, and I'm going to simply paste here. And that's it. Hit enter. You can see we are connected and everything's working fine. Now we have to make it side by side so we can see that what we are working on. So I believe that you guys have got the starter file. Okay, and I have already provided you all the CSS. All we have to do is to write the HTML and all the styling will take place. Okay, so let's start working on it. So here we are. First, what I will do is I'm going to simply change the title. So I'll say the blockchain coder, and you can see the title is changed. We'll say ERC20 token staking Dapp, and here the title is changed. Now we have to work on the icon, the favicon icon. So what we can do, we'll take this link and we have to get the asset. So we'll go back to the images. Inside the images we have this favicon icon and we have to say icon, so our icon will display. Here we have. Now we can come here, we have to connect our CSS file. So we'll say, so first we have to remove this. We have to get into the asset folder and we have this one. So this is the CSS we have attached for the notification. So I believe that you guys have followed the starter file and that I've explained that what are the folders and files you will get. So that's what I'm simply connecting. So first notification. Now we have to actually replace this one and here we have to define the type. So we'll say text/CSS. So this is the second CSS file and now we have to connect our CSS file, the main one. And this will also come from the starter file. So here we have all the CSS file. So we're going to import this particular one, style CSS. And here you can see the color is changed. Looks pretty good. Now our CSS is connected. Now we can start working on the body. So bring this down and first we're going to work on our loader. So whenever you will reload the page, we're going to display our loader. And I hope you guys have seen the preview. So that's what we're going to build. So let's call it loader and copy and paste here. And then that we're going to define our loader. So let's come here. Let's take a div. It will have a class. It will have an ID and it will call game on. You can call game on preloader. We'll have a class called game on preloader. Inside that we're going to take a div. It will have a class called preloader animation. Inside that we're going to take a div. It will have a class spinner. We'll come down and we'll take a p tag and it will have a class called so font width 5 and we'll say text center, text uppercase, and inside that we have to call this loader. So you can see our loader is displaying because we have already built all the CSS. I hope you guys know what is CSS class model. So if you use Tailwind CSS, this is what we do. We use the classes and the styling take place. Okay, so here we have the loader, which is absolutely working fine. Now what we can do is let's come here. Here we want to take a couple of divs. So let's take a div. It will have a class called loader animation. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called row. Height is going to be 100 viewport and it will have a div. It will have a class called column3 single loader and we'll have a padding 0. So let's take that one Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called loader pg, stand for background. Simply replicate couple of times. So copy that one, and let's give me this particular text and grab this one. So simply copy this one and replicate couple of times. So paste 4 times. So we have this 4 div, and all things are looking pretty fine. We don't need to do anything. So this is the entire loader we have for the animation. So that looks pretty good. Let's have a look one more time. Everything's good. So this one is the entire preloader. Close this one. So we are done with this entire preloader. So that's the only thing we have to write. Now what we can do is, let's connect the JavaScript file, because right now you can see that our loader is keep loading, but this is not the behavior we want in our application. So when we reload the browser, only that time this loader will display. After 1 second or 2 seconds, it's going to be turned off. So what we can do is, let's come here, let's call all the script. So already I have provided all the scripts to all of you guys. So let's call that one by one. So we'll take a script, we'll go into the asset folder, and we have this JS vendor, and inside that we have to go into the JS, then we have to go to the vendor, and inside that we have all the CSS files. So we have to import one by one. So JavaScript file, let's import one by one. Copy this one, paste couple of time, and simply change this asset JavaScript vendor, and we have to pick this time proper. Then we have to remove this one. This time we have to pick bootstrap. This time we have to pick the all minified JS and remove this one. And this time we're going to take this one gallery, remove this one. We'll take the slider, replicate it one more time. Okay, let's come here. This time we're going to import this countdown. I hope you guys can hear the noise of a baby crying. She's my niece, she's crying and she wants to go out, so just ignore that. Now we have to call the other file. So we're going to call this sluffer, and we have all this JavaScript. So it looks pretty good. Let's JS, remove this part, and this time we have to install the main file, main JavaScript, and we'll simply remove this one, and it's going to have the JavaScript notify, and we're going to take this notification and save it. And once you will save, you will find the loader is gone. But if you reload the page, you will see our loader is displaying, means our JavaScript is working, and we have connected our JavaScript with our application. And let me give this comment, and down below this web3 functions script. So below this we're going to attach all the script we have written, but for the time being, let's keep it like it. Let's work on the HTML, and after that, once we write the entire HTML, then definitely we're going to connect it. So we have this preloader. Now we have to work on this main component. So let's come here, let's give this comment main start, and this one is main end. Inside that we're going to take a div. It will have a class called main, and inside that we're going to break down the entire application into a small component. So we'll have a header, then footer, then the main section, the banner section. So the all section we're going to define inside this. So let's create a header section, copy that one, bring it down, and let's call it end of header. Inside that we'll take a header tag. It will have a ID called header. Inside that we're going to take this nav. It will have a data OS attribute, so we can open and we can close, and this one is for the zoom out, and it will have a data OS delay, and this will be 800 for the animations. And now we'll take a class called Navbar. We'll say game on Navbar, and we'll take this Navbar expand. So this is the entire header class we have assigned in the Navbar. Looks good. Now let's come here. Let's take a div. It will have a class called container header. Inside that we'll take anchor, and we're going to redirect to the HTML page, and we'll take a class. We'll say Navbar brand. Inside that, we'll take an image. We have to provide our image, the logo. Go to the logo folder and we have to pick the logo, and you can define the alt text. So we'll say brand logo. Here we have the logo. Looks pretty good. Let's come here. We'll take a div. It will have a class called margin left auto, and we'll take this, save it, and come here. We'll take a UL. It will have a class called Navbar nav. It will have the items, and it will have a max auto. Then we'll take this li. It will have a class called navbar nav item and active. Inside that, we'll take this anchor. We'll redirect to the index page, and we'll have a class called nav link active, and inside that we have to display our menus. So this one is the home one. So simply save it. Looks pretty good. Now what we can do is just do the inspect element, and let's see why our things are not displaying, the menus are not displaying. Okay, let's try to make it big. I guess because of the responsiveness, because that's the class we have attached. So what we can do is, let's try to work on this list item. So we'll simply copy this one, the entire li. So simply copy this one and replicate couple of times. Okay, now we have to simply change this state. So first thing we have to change this one is the active going to be on the first one, and we have to remove from all the other ones. So select all of this, Control D or Command D. It will select and remove that one. So we have to remove all the active classes, but we have to keep in the home one. And here we have to change the page. So this will become the project 2, and this will say project page, and this will become our staking one and staking page. Let's come here. We have to call contact, and this will be called register, and we'll say initialize. And now we have to redirect to the analytical, and this will say profile. We have this extra, remove that one. Looks pretty good. We have all the menu. So let me make it on the big screen, and you can see here we have the menu. As I told you that because of the responsive classes we have attached, it's not going to display in the mobile phone, because we're going to create a different component which we're going to display in the mobile devices. So you can see we have everything is looking pretty good. So let's make it big, and this looks pretty good. Everything is working fine. We have all the menu navigation. Close this one. We'll take another UL. It will have a class called Navbar nav, and it will have the icon class. Inside that, we'll take a li. It will have a class called nav item. Inside that, we'll take an anchor tag, and we don't want to redirect to anywhere, but we have to assign a class called nav link. It will have the data attribute. We'll say toggle, and it will have this model, and it will have the data called target, and we have to target the search component. Okay, the search model we're going to open. So that's our anchor. Looks pretty good. Inside that, we can display our icon. So we'll take a class. We'll use this icon magnifier. So the search icon we have to display, and we have our icon. So looks pretty good. Now we can come back here. So this is the one we have. So let's give this one navbar toggle, give the comment, and we can come here. We can simply display our menu. So we can say navbar toggle, and here we have. So simply copy this one, and that's what we have to paste here, and we have to change the icon. So we'll say toggle, and here we have to change the target to menu, and we have to change the icon. So this time we have to display the icon menu, and we'll say margin 0. So you can see our icon is displaying. So this is the menu icon we have. Looks pretty good. Now come here. We'll take a navbar action button. So we have to display the button. Come here. We'll take a UL. It will have a class called navbar nav action, and inside that we'll take a li, and inside that it will have a class called nav item, it will have a margin 2 pixels, and we have to display our anchor. So just ignore this noise, we have to remove it. Let's have a class called button, margin left large, auto, and we'll take this button bordered white. So you can see that's the button we have. Inside that, we have to display our icon, the wallet icon. So we'll say icon wallet, and we'll have the margin right medium 2 pixels, and inside that we have to display our text. So here we have the button. Okay, we have something wrong here, it's displaying the text, but it has to hide the text in the small screen. So we have to see what's the went wrong. So this looks pretty good. We have all the classes, this one is also good. So you can see I paused the video for a while and I found that I made a silly mistake. I put that text inside the icon, so that was the problem I had. So make sure to have to simply provide the same classes and simply cut and paste out of the icons, and everything is looking pretty fine. So this is the entire header component is ready for the mobile screen, but we have to write the build a component where we can display the mobile. So right now if you click, nothing will happen because we have to write for the mobile. So what I can do is, so come back here and let's call model responsive menu r start. This one is going to be for the mobile device and this one is the end. If you click, nothing will happen, but we have to open the model. So we'll take a div, it will have an id called menu, it will have a class called model, fade, and we'll say padding 0. Inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called model dialog, and it will say dialog animate. Inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called model content, and it will have a class height 100 pixels. Then we'll take a div, it will have a class called model header, and it will have a data attribute. So we'll say dismiss, and we have to pass the model. Inside that we have to display our menu and we have to display our icon. So let's have a class called far times circle and icon, so it will display our close icon. Right now it will not display, so save it, and looks pretty good. Let's come here, we'll take a div, it will have a class called menu model body. Inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called row width is 100, and we'll say class items padding 0 column 12 text center, and that looks pretty good. So this is the entire model component we have. So save it, and if you click on that, you can see our model, the mobile navigation is displaying our cross icons, everything is looking pretty fine. So this is the model icon, and now we have to work on the search model. So we can simply format this. Let's come here, and here we have to build the component. We'll say model search area start, comment this one, copy and paste here, and this will be the end. We'll take a div, it will have a id called search, it will have a class called model fade padding 0. Inside that we'll have a div, it will have a class called model dialog, and we'll say model animate. Inside that we'll have a div, it will have a class called model content, and height is going to be 100 viewport, and we'll have a class called model header. It will have a data attribute, so we'll say data miss, and we have to close that one, which is the model. And inside that we'll take a search, and we have to display our icon. So it will have a class called far time circle, so the close icon. It will have a class icon close. So if you click, you can see we have this drop down search component, looks pretty good. Now we have to write the code for the body. So we can come here, well, target the div, we'll say class model body. Inside that we'll take a form element, remove this action. We'll have a class called row. Inside that we'll have a div, it will have a class called column 12, align self container, sorry, center. Inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called row. Inside that we'll have a div, it will have a class called column 12, padding 3, and we'll have the header, which is a class called search title, margin top 0 and margin bottom 3. And in that we have to simply type this particular text, what are you looking for. If you click, and here we have that one, pretty good. Come here, we'll take a p tag and we'll take this dummy text, so it's quite big, so let's remove a couple of. Now this one is look good. Now we can come here and we'll take a div, it will have a class called row. Inside that we'll have a div, it will have a class called class column 12. We'll have this input group, margin top, medium 4. Inside that we'll take this input type text, we'll take the placeholder, we'll say enter your keyword, and we'll simply come here. We have to take a div, it will have a class called row. Inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called column 12, and we'll say input group, align self center, and that we have the button, so we'll take a class, we'll say button bordered white, and we'll take the margin top 3 pixels, and in that we have to display our text search. So if you click here, we have the button. Okay, something's wrong, it has to come from the side, but it's coming from the top, so maybe I have done something wrong. Let me have a look one more time. So this is the entire search component, we can fix that very easily. Let's check on the big screen. So let's take this one. This is the problem I have, but this style is also looking good, but this is not what we have in the design. So this is the problem I had. So right now if you click, this is the problem I have, and this is the problem I have because I have provided this particular class. So simply remove this one, it will be dialog animate, not model animate. So if you save it, and now our entire component will taking the full width and working absolutely fine. So we are done with the menu, we are done with the search components, both are working absolutely fine. Now we can start working on the footer component. So let's build that component. We'll say footer start, and the reason why we are working on all of these components, because these are the components we're going to use on other pages. So once we build the entire layout, we're going to simply copy paste this entire code in different pages, and we'll have the styling. So copy that one and paste here, and inside that we'll take this footer tag, it will have a class called footer area. Inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called container. Inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called row. Justify content center. Inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called column 12, and we'll have the column medium 8, and we'll take this text center. We'll take this, simply comment this one, and now we have to display the icons, the items. So we'll take this footer items. Inside that we'll take the logo, because that's what we have to display. So come here, we'll take a simply take a href, and that we have to redirect to the home page, and it will have a class called Navbar. In that we have to take the image, so we have the image in the logo folder, save it, and here you can see we have the image in the center. So looks pretty good. Now we can simply come down and we can display our social icons. Come here, we'll take a div, it will have a class called social icon deflex, justify content center, and we'll have margin y. Then we'll come here inside the div, we'll take a anchor, and we don't need to redirect, so you can simply provide where you want to redirect to the user. So it will have a class called Facebook, and we'll have the target blank, so it will open in the new page. Inside that we have to display our icon, so we have to display the Facebook icon. So we'll say icon social Facebook, simply replicate it one time and save it. So you can see here we have the Facebook icon. Simply copy this one and replicate couple of times, because we have to display the different icons. So simply copy this one and paste couple of times, and simply change the classes. So this is the one we have. They will say Twitter, this will be the Twitter and Twitter. So okay, I think I missed something. So not a big deal. So this one is the Twitter, so we can simply call this Twitter, and we can call this LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, select this one and say LinkedIn. Here we have that. Now we have to work on the other icon. So this one is the Facebook, select this one, and we'll say Reddit. Okay, there is a spelling mistake in the Reddit, so it's E, not A. Sorry, my bad. Reddit. Now we have the two, so this one is going to be our V, and simply paste right up here. And the last one is going to be YouTube. Save it. So we have all of this icon and looks pretty good. So this is the entire footer icons have. Now we can come down and we can work on the footer menu. So we'll take a UL. It will have a class called list inline. It will have a li, and we'll have the class called list inline item. We'll have a anchor. We don't want to redirect, and we have to display our feature. So it will call features. So this is the first menu. Now we have to simply replicate this li couple of times. So simply select that one and replicate couple of times. And now we have to simply change the name. So this one is going to be roadmap. This will be the how it works. This will be called blog, and the last one will have the privacy policy. So this is the entire menu, and that looks pretty good. Okay, now we can come here, we can display our copyright section, and we can come here, we'll take a div, it will have a class, we'll say copyright area padding y. Inside that we'll take this copyright icon, and we have to display the here the blockchain coder all right reserve by, and we have to display. So what I will do, I'm going to redirect the user to the blockchain coder website. So this is the URL. I hope you guys are familiar with this. So the blockchaincoder.com and /resources. So at this location you will find the source code, so take it, or the starter file if you haven't downloaded that. And I want to open in the new page, and inside that we're going to display this particular test. You can see it's looking pretty fine. So this is the copyright section. Now we can display the button, so the user can click and it will take them to up. So the anchor, so come here, we'll take this called scroll to top, and here we'll simply attach that. We'll take a div, it will have a class called scroll to top, and it will have an ID called scroll to top. Inside that we'll take this anchor and we'll say header. It will have a class called smooth anchor, and we'll display our anchor icon. So fade far arrow up. So this is the icon, and that's the entire footer component we have. So looks pretty good. Let's see in the big screen, and here we have the entire footer. Looks absolutely good. All the animations, menu, colors are looking fine. Here we have redirect to the blockchain coder, and you can simply come here and you can get the starter file if you want, and you have to take the starter file if you want to code along with me. And here we have this. Looks pretty good. All these components are looking fine. So here we are. Now things are getting good. You can see the loader animation is also working fine. So now what we can do is, now we have to work on the call to action component. So let's format this one, and let's say CTA area or action start. Copy that one and paste here, end. So we have to work on the call to action. So we'll take a section. It will have a class called CTA area, will have a padding 0. Inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called container. Inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called row. Inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called column 12 card. Inside that we'll take a div, it will have a class called row align item center and justify content center. So that's the div I have. Inside that we're going to take this div, it will have a class called column 12, and we'll take this column medium 5 and text center. Inside that we'll take the image, and we have to display the image. So we'll go into this and we'll display this call to action thumbnail. If you save, and here you can see we have the image looking absolutely fine. Now we can simply come here, we'll take a div, it will have a class called column 12, column medium 6, margin top 4 pixels, and we'll have the margin medium 0. Inside that, we'll take the h2. It will have a class called margin 0. We'll say apply for IGO or staking. So I'll go with the IGO. This looks pretty good. So we have our, now we have to take a p tag, and in that we're going to display this text message: get access to huge set of tools to stake your ERC token and earn reward. You can type any message depending on your offer. So it looks pretty good. We can come here, we'll take an anchor, and it will not going to redirect to anywhere. And here we'll have a class called button board, and it will have the active state. It will have the inline block, and we can display our text. So it will have an icon, the rocket icon. So it will have a class called icon rocket margin 2 pixels from the right side, and we can say apply now, save it, and here we have that one. Looks pretty good. So this is the text. Now what we can do is come here, we have to take an anchor, and we'll say class ct link, so the user can click and they can redirect. So you can see it's looking pretty fine on the white screen, and we have all the things looking absolutely great. So come back here. So everything's working fine. Our call to action component is looking good. Now we have to work on the actual component, means the main one. So we have done with the header, we have done with the CTS, and now we're going to work on the main section, the banners, the breadcrumb sections. So we'll say start, copy, and that's, we're going to paste it. And so let's take a section. It will have a class called breadcrumb area. We'll have a overlay dark and deflex, and we'll have a align item center. So we'll have nice cap, and we can display our content in that. Open this section. We'll have a div. It will have a class called container. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called row. In that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called column 12. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called breadcrumb content and text center. In that, we'll take this h2. It will have a class called margin 0, and in that we'll display our staking page title. Then we'll take this OL. It will have a class, and we'll say breadcrumb deflex justify content. We'll take this li, and we'll display the icon, breadcrumb icon. So we'll say breadcrumb item, and we'll have this anchor. We are to the page, home page. So simply copy and replicate, and here we have to simply take this one, provide this one, and we'll say this staking, and we have to replicate one more time, and this will be the staking same, and we'll have this active. Looks pretty good. So our breadcrumb section is also looking fine. Let's have a look on the big screen. You can see this is how it will look on the desktop, and things are looking good. So we have built the entire structure. The main component we have included. You can click, you can open that one, and you can go to the different pages. Now what we can do is, we are done with this entire layout structure. Now we're going to simply copy and paste in all the other pages. So let's do that. So everything is looking good. Now we can simply select all, copy that one, and paste in the analytical. Do the same thing in the content, index, project detail, register, and close all the open tab. So the layout is done. Now you can come back to the browser and you can have a look. So if you click on this project, you can see we are on the project page. All we have to do is to change this text. Here we are in the staking, we are in the contract, initials, and the pool, and all the open component, and it's 100% responsive for all the devices. Looks pretty good. Wonderful. Click and it will come up. So we are done with the basic functionality. You can see we have written the entire architecture, built the entire component, and it looks pretty good to me. So everything's working fine. Now we're going to start working on the staking page first, and we have to connect all the functionality we have built so we can stake the token and earn reward, all of those things. So first start working on the staking page, then we'll work on the other pages. So let me bring this side, and looks pretty good. Come here, and here we are in the staking page. So this is the entire the loader we have. This is the main, this is the header component, the breadcrumb component, the CTA, the footer, and the models for menu and for the search. So we have to come back down below the breadcrumb, and here we have to build the main component, staking component start. Comment this one, copy and paste here. This will be end. Okay, now we'll take a section. It will have a class called staking area, and inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called container. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called row. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called column 12. Column medium 7 will have a div. It will have a class called margin 0. Inside that, let's remove this one and say add class card and non-over, and it will be the staking card and single staking. Save it. Inside that we'll take a h3. It will have a class called margin 0, and that will display our text. So we'll say participate IGO stake. Okay, so the text is not reflecting. Why? Reload the browser. Okay, let's work on it. We'll take a span. It will have a class called balance, and we have to display the user balance. So we'll take this hardcore data USDT, and we'll come down. We'll take this tab start. So we're going to work on the tab component. So what we can do is, so why this text is not displaying, let's take this UL. It will have a class nav tabs, and it will have the staking tab border 0, and margin Y is 3 and margin medium 4. So okay, I do understand why it's happening. So right now you can see that we are in the analytical page, and we are working on the staking page. So we have to go back to the staking page, and here you will find that it's working, because earlier we were in the analytical page. That's why we are not able to find this one. So styling is taking place, and we have the data. Now we can simply open this one, and we'll take a ID. We'll say my tab, and we have to define the rule. So tab list, come here. Inside that we'll take a li, and we'll have a class called nav item. It will have the rule. So we'll say presentation. We'll have an anchor, and we don't want to redirect anywhere else. So we'll take a class. It will have a tab link. It will have active. So this is the default tab. We're going to open it, and it will have an ID. We'll say tab 1. Altogether we're going to have 4 tabs. So this is the tab 1 ID. We have to assign the data attribute. So we'll say data toggle to tab, and we'll take this href, and by default we're going to take tab 1. We have to open. So this one is the most important thing. Okay, don't try to make mistakes. Try to provide the exact value, so we can open different component, and we can call different contract, so user can stake the token in different contracts. So these are the important tags that are very, so these are the tags are very important, and you have to provide the exact one. So come here, we'll have to define the role. So we'll say tab, and we'll take this one. So we have to define the ADL, and we'll say content is gonna be tab 1. ADL selected. By default it will be true, and the name is going to be the 7 days, and it will have a on click function, and we have to call the function we have built. So we'll say open tab, and that we have to pass the event and the name 7 days. So on the base of this we can identify that which contract we have to call. So this is the function we have built. I hope you guys haven't forgot that. In that we'll say 7 days. So this is the first tab. This is the one. Come here, and if you come back to the common.js, so this is the function we have called. Come here in the index, and this is the function we are calling. So that's the simple thing. Now what we can do is we can simply copy this one and replicate 3 times. So paste 1, 2, 3. So we have this 4 buttons. All we have to do is to change the name. So this one is the first one, and now we have to work on the second one. So here we have to change the 1 to 2. So this will be 2, this will be 2, and this will be 2, and we'll have the 7 days to be the 10 days, and this will be the 10 days. It's 10 days, and this we have to remove this active class, and this is good, and we have to simply turn this false, not true, and that's the only thing we have to do. Looks pretty good. Do the same thing for the third one. So this will be the 3. So select this and we'll say 3. Okay, so this one is the 3 one. This will be the false, and we have to change the name. So this will be the 32 days and 2 days. It's totally up to you that how long you want your user to be stake their token. You can define your own, but I'm going with this normal one. So this is the third one. Now we have to work on the fourth one. Remove this one, and this will be the 4. Select and change 4, and this will be the 90 days. 90 days, and change this to 90, and this will be the false. So we have these 4 different tab. You can simply click and you can see the over effect and click event is also working place. Close this one, and this is the entire tab section we have. Now we have to go ahead. So we have work on this, bring it down. Now we have to work on the body, and we have to display 4 different components. So what we can do is we'll take a div. It will have a class called tab content margin top medium 3 pixels. Will have an ID called my tab content. It will have a div. It will have a class called tab pen fade, and we'll have the show and the active. By default, we're going to open the very first component, the 7 days one inside, and it will have the ID called tab 1. It will have the rule, and we'll say tab panel. It will have the area label, and we'll say tab 1. Save it. Inside the div, we have to take a div. It will have a class called staking tab content. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called info box deflex justify content between. In that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called info left. Inside that, we'll take a UL. It will have a class called li list unlisted. Inside that, we'll have our li, and we'll take the strong tag. Inside that, we'll display the title log period, and here we'll display the actual data. So right now we are going with this hard code, but we're going to display with the dynamic one. So make sure to give the exact class name, because this is the class name we have provided in our JavaScript file, and we're going to populate the data in this particular element span. So log period value. So this one is the thing you have to keep in mind. So this is the first one we have. Now we have to simply copy and replicate couple of times. So we can take the strong tag, and you can give this extended locked on registration, and here you can say yes. You can see that's how you can do it. Simply copy and replicate couple of times. Now we have to simply change the test, and we have to assign the IDs. So let's remove this one. We'll say early unstake fee, and we'll take a span. It will have a ID, class, and we'll say early unstake fee value. Make sure to give the exact class, and here we have to provide the amount. So right now we are going with this hardcode data, but we're going to update this data with the function. Now we have to display the minimum staking amount. We'll take a span. It will have a class called minimum staking amount, and we'll say 0. We'll go to the maximum one. So the maximum staking amount, remove this one, and we'll take this span, remove this one. We'll say maximum staking amount, and by default we'll go with the 100, just for demo data. Simply copy that one, paste here, and replace this one. So this will be our stake status, and by default we'll say unlocked, and change the class name. So active status staking, and we have this extra one, so simply change this one. We'll say additional reward, and we are not providing any additional reward. So what we can do, simply remove the span, and we can display the none. Save it. Now simply copy this one and come back here and paste. Now we have to display the text, so we'll say this app rate, so the percentage value, and simply come here and take a div. It will have a class called info right d flex, and we'll have the flex column. We'll take a span. It will have a class called app value, and we have to display the percentage they will get as a reward. We'll take a div and we'll have this particular APY, and things looks good. So this is the component which is working absolutely fine. So looks good. Now here we are. Simply close this one. This is the entire component, and open this one, and this is the one. So this is the one component, and we have to have a 4 component together. So this is the one component we have. Looks good. So simply copy this one, and we have to replicate 4 times because we have 4 tabs, and paste here, and we have to remove this one, classes show inactive, and we have to change this tab 1 to 2. Okay, let's come up here, just change this to 2, and that's the only changes you have to do here. The rest would be fine. Simply copy and paste here, and this will be the 3. So select this one, and this will be 3. Copy this one and paste here, and the last one we have is the 4. So simply change this to 4. Save it, and looks good. Save it, and that's the entire 4 component we have. Let's see on the big screen. Okay, everything is working fine. We can toggle in different tabs, so looks good. Now simply close this one, and now we have to work on the other components, the input field. So let's take a div. It will have a class called input box. It will have margin y 4 pixels. It will have a pay, and it will have a ID user token balance. So we'll display that, like what is the balance of his token which he want to stake. So that's the balance we will display. So we'll say balance, and we'll say 0 as a default value. Come here, we'll take a div. It will have a class called in. We'll have the ID. We'll say staking button block show hide. Now we have to assign the classes input area. We'll take this flex column, and with the flex medium row, and we'll have the margin bottom 3 pixels. Save it. Open this div, and inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called input text. It will have a input, so we'll type text and placeholder. Then we'll have an ID. We'll say amount total stake new, and we'll have this anchor. We'll say max. Remove this anchor and save it. Looks good. You can see our input field is looking pretty fine. Now we have to display the button. So we'll take a span. It will have a class called button. We'll say input button, and we'll take this margin top pick 2 pixels, margin top medium 0, and we'll have the margin L medium 3 pixels, and it will have an on click function, and we have to call the stake function. So this is the function we have in our file, index file. So save it, come back here, and you can see this is the entire load initial data we have, and this is all the function we have created in the index file. Close all of these functions. Pretty good. And this is the function we are calling, and this will allow us to stake our token. Simply copy, and that's what we have to pass, and looks pretty good. Here we have to call this stake. So our button is ready. Now we can simply take a div. It will have a class, work on the other input field. We'll say input area deflex, flex column, flex medium row, and we'll have the medium 3 pixels. Inside that we have to take our input. It will have the placeholder, so that amount, and we'll have ID. So we have to get the amount from this input field. So we'll say unstake value, and we'll say max, save it, and we have to display the button. So what we can do is we can come here, we'll take a div, let's assign a class, and we'll say text input text, cut this one and wrap this entire, and we'll have this styling. Now we can take this button one, take this span and copy and paste here. So paste here. So we have the button, and we have to simply change the text to withdraw. So that's the withdraw, and this is the function we have to call. Okay, so the 2 input fields are ready, and now we have to write one more for the getting the reward. So close this one, copy this one and paste here. And here we have to do a couple of changes. So we have to change the IDs and the function name and the name of the button. So it looks pretty good to me. Now we can simply remove this margin bottom, and things are looking good. Now we have to replace this ID. We'll say user reward balance value, and we have to call the function. So come here, and we have to get the function called claim token, copy, and that's what we have to paste. And we'll say reward, save it, and that's all the input we have, and looks pretty good. And we have attached the functionality as well. Now we can simply come here, and we can display some dummy text. We'll take this detail, and in that we're going to take this span. It will have the Lawrence span, so you can see we have this text, remove some extra text, and we can take this span, and we can have a class called margin top 3 pixels. Inside that we'll take this strong tag, and in that we'll display our app rate is dynamic. You can display any text, but this is what I have in the design. Save it, and this is the entire component for the right side, for the left side. Now we have to work on the right side. So let's call it sidebar. Cut there. Now we can come here, we'll take a div. It will have a class called column 12, column medium 5 pixels. Well, come here, we'll take a div. It will have a class called staking item. We'll take the medium margin top 4%, margin top medium 0, and we'll have the card. So simply comment this one and come here, we'll take a div. It will have a class called card none over, and we'll have the staking card. Inside that we'll take the h3, and we'll take the ID. We'll say total lock token value, and we'll have a class. Let's add a class called margin 0, and we have to display this hardcode token data. Things are looking fine. Now we can take a p tag, and it will display the total value lock, so in the contract. And here we have to simply close this one, copy this card, and we have to replicate 5 times. So we have this one. Now let's assign a margin top, because they are stacked to each other. So we'll say this, remove this one. We'll say margin y 4 pixels, Copy this one, and the same thing we have to do in this particular card as well. So we'll have some space. Looks good. Now we have to change the text and the ID. So this will be the your lock token, and we have to, this is the value we have given, and this is the replace the ID. So we'll say total locked user token. Let's replace the text. We'll say percentage, and by default we'll say 20%, and we have to replace the ID. So the ID will be app value feature, and the last one we have is this number of stakers, and we have to replace the ID. We'll say number of staker value, change this to 34, and we need one more for the timer, the countdown timer. Simply copy and paste here, and this will say time left, hurry. We have to replace the ID, so we'll say countdown title value. We'll take this countdown time value. Inside that we'll take a span, and we'll take a ID, and we'll display this countdown title value. So this will be the time of our contract. So let's give this hardcore data. You can see the data is displaying. Let's provide a real data to check how it looks when we have the time. So this is how it's going to be looking, pretty fine. And let's assign a margin from top, so you can see things looks pretty good. We have the binary, this is the tab, different tabs we have, looks pretty good. We have different input fields, and search bar is also working fine. We can go into the different pages, and looks pretty good. So with that, we are done with the entire staking page. In the next video, we're going to test all the functionality we have built, and we're going to make some live transactions. So let's move to that.